You wake up, you check your bank account, and that number on your screen decides almost everything about your day: what you eat, where you live, how you feel when the bills hit, whether you sleep well at night or stare at the ceiling doing mental maths at 2 in the morning. In Australia right now, the average household net worth sits at around $1.63 million dollars based on the latest Finder Wealth Building Report 2026. But that average is a lie, because behind it, there are people choosing between groceries and petrol, and there are people choosing between their third investment property and their fourth. Today, I'm going to walk you through every single level of wealth in this country, from rock bottom to the absolute top, so you can see exactly where you sit, and more importantly, what it actually takes to move up. Let's start where nobody wants to be, but where more Australians are than you'd think: below the poverty line. Right now, around 1 in 7 Australians live in poverty, according to the ACOSS Poverty in Australia report. The poverty line sits at $584 a week for a single adult and $1,226 a week for a couple with 2 children. You're not saving, you're not investing, you're rationing. You learn which supermarkets discount meat at 7 in the evening. You know the exact dollar amount in your account at all times, not because you're financially disciplined, but because a single unexpected cost can unravel your entire month. At this level, money doesn't work for you. It works against you, and the mental load is relentless. Now let's step up to what most people call getting by. You've got a job, maybe full-time, maybe casual. You're earning somewhere around $55,000 to $65,000 a year. After tax, that's roughly $850 to $1,000 a week. Sounds okay until you realise the average rent across Australian capital cities is now around $724 a week, according to the latest 2026 data. In Sydney, unit rents sit at a median of around $760 a week, and Sydney house rents have hit a record $850 a week following the largest quarterly jump in 4 years, per Domain's July 2026 report. So if you're renting in any major city, half to 2/3 of your income is gone before you buy a single thing. You've got maybe $10,000 or $15,000 saved, most of it sitting in a savings account earning almost nothing after inflation. Your super balance, if you're in your late 20s, is sitting around $29,000 based on the latest ATO data. At this level, you can survive, but you can feel the ceiling above you. You can't get ahead. You're running on a treadmill, and the speed keeps going up. Now here's where most of Australia actually lives: the median income zone. You're earning between $90,000 and $106,000 a year. That aligns with the latest ABS figures showing full-time workers earn a median of around $90,500 per year and average full-time earnings of about $106,700 per year in 2026. You might own a car outright. You might have a modest emergency fund of $15,000 to $30,000. If you're in your 30s, your super might be around $58,000 to $100,000, depending on gender and when you started working. You might be saving for a house deposit, and that's where reality hits hard, because Australia now has 6 capital cities with a median house price above $1 million, with Sydney leading at around $1.28 million and the national median dwelling value sitting near $941,864 as of mid-2026. A 20% deposit on a $1 million home is over $200,000. Even a 10% deposit with lender's mortgage insurance is over $100,000. So you do the maths. You're saving maybe $1,500 a month after all expenses. That's $18,000 a year. A 10% deposit would take you over 5 years of disciplined saving, assuming prices don't keep rising, which they will. At this level, you're comfortable day to day, but the big goals still feel painfully far away. Let's move into what's called the traction zone. Household income between $150,000 and $250,000. This is typically a dual income household, maybe 2 professionals both earning $80,000 to $120,000 each. Now things start to shift. You can actually save meaningfully. You might be putting away $3,000 to $5,000 a month. You've probably bought your first home, or at least you're close. If you bought before 2023, you might be sitting on some decent equity already. Your combined super might be $200,000 to $350,000 depending on your age. You've probably got $50,000 to $100,000 in savings or investments outside of super. Here's what changes at this level. You start to breathe. Not fully, because more than 1 in 3 Australian homeowners reported difficulty meeting their mortgage repayments in January 2026, according to industry data. But you have options. You can start to think about ETFs, salary sacrificing into super, maybe even a small investment property down the track. Next level. You're in the top 10%. Your individual taxable income is above $156,592, based on the latest ATO data. Your household net worth is probably between $1.5 million and $2.5 million. At this point, you own your home, and there's a good chance it's worth over $1 million on its own. You might have an investment property generating rental income. Your super is healthy, probably between $300,000 and $500,000. You've got a share portfolio or managed funds. You take holidays overseas without putting them on a credit card. You buy quality without checking the price tag on everything. But here's what nobody tells you about this level. You still feel like you're not wealthy. You're surrounded by people who appear to have more. You're paying serious tax, sometimes $50,000 to $70,000 a year or more. And if your wealth is mostly locked in property and super, your actual cash flow might be tighter than people assume. This is the level where lifestyle creep becomes your biggest enemy. You upgrade the car. The holidays get more expensive. The kids go to private school. And suddenly, a household earning $250,000 can feel just as stuck as one earning $90,000 because the spending expanded to match. Now let's talk about the top 5%. To be here, you need roughly $3 to $4 million in net assets. This is where wealth genuinely starts to compound. You likely own your home outright, or nearly so. You've got 1 or 2 investment properties. Your super is probably pushing $600,000 to $800,000. You might have $500,000 or more in shares, ETFs, or other liquid investments. At this level, passive income enters the picture in a real way. Your investments might be throwing off $50,000 to $80,000 a year in dividends, rent, or distributions. That's almost a full median salary, earned while you sleep. This is the level where you stop trading time for money and start trading money for time. You can take a year off and not panic. You can retire 5 or 10 years earlier than everyone around you. Not because you earned more than everyone, but because you kept your spending below your income for long enough that your money started doing the work. Next level, you're in the top 1%. The exact 1% threshold depends heavily on age, and the ABS doesn't publish an official national figure. But estimates place the household net worth threshold somewhere around $8 million for the general population. For younger Australians aged 25 to 40, the top 1% threshold sits closer to $3 million. For those aged 41 to 64, it's approximately $7 to $8 million, and for households over 65, the top 1% is above $10 million in net worth. At this level, you don't think about money day to day. You think about asset allocation, tax structures, trusts, estate planning. You have an accountant, a financial advisor, and probably a solicitor on speed dial. Your kids' education is sorted. Your retirement is sorted. You're now playing a completely different game. You're thinking about legacy, generational wealth, how to pass it down without it being wasted. And then there's the ultra high net worth level, above $30 million in liquid assets. These aren't your typical high earners. These are business owners, property developers, tech founders, mining executives. Australia has a rapidly growing number of them. Knight Frank's Wealth Report 2026 forecasts Australia's population of ultra-high net worth individuals will climb nearly 60% to 26,095 by 2031, one of the fastest growth rates globally. So here's the question that actually matters. Where are you right now? And what's the one thing that would move you to the next level? Because when you look at this full picture, the pattern becomes obvious. It's not about earning more, at least not at first. It's about keeping more of what you earn and then putting that gap to work. Every single level of wealth in Australia shares the same starting move. Spend less than you make and invest the difference consistently over time. The people at the top didn't all start with high incomes, but they all started with a gap between what came in and what went out. If you're watching this and you're at the bottom, know that the system is tough, but it's not impossible. If you're in the middle, know that you're closer than you think, because the jump from the median to the top 20% is mostly about habits, not income. And if you're near the top, know that your biggest risk isn't losing money, it's losing perspective. No matter where you are right now, the next level is available to you, but only if you're honest about where you stand today. If any of this hit home, do me a favor and hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one. I'll see you there.